Hey everybody, welcome to this very special edition of the MAINEiac Radio Show. I'm your host, Tech Sergeant Andy Sinclair with the 101st Public Affairs Office here in Bangor. Yesterday marked 75 years since the Battle of Pearl Harbor, when the Japanese attacked the United States without any warning. During that 2-hour attack that started at 7:55 in the morning, a total of 2,335 U.S. servicemen were killed in defense of their country. Yesterday, we as a nation bowed our heads in remembrance for all of those patriots that gave their lives that day at the spark of the United States' involvement into World War II. Command Chief Master Sergeant Moore, who most of you know is an outstanding speaker, was given the opportunity to speak downtown yesterday in regards to the 75th anniversary on the attack of Pearl Harbor. There's a video going around that Public Affairs shot yesterday of Chief Master Sergeant Moore's outstanding speech, and you may have already seen it, but in case you haven't, this episode is one more way that you can listen to it. So I strongly recommend, if you haven't seen that video, listen to the inspiring words that Chief Master Sergeant Moore has to say. Here's the audio file.
They came from nearly every state in the Union, from Maine to California, from Texas to Minnesota. They came from the heartlands and the hillsides, from the cornfields and the boroughs. They ranged in age from those barely legal to serve to those who were nearing the end of their service commitment. They came from each branch of service: the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, and civilians. A diverse group of Americans who in death found unanimity as Pearl Harbor casualties. Heroes who in life and in service found unity through their sworn oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Now, here on the 75th anniversary of that tragic day, you and I gather to remember and to honor. Theirs was an oath to support and defend a United States founded on the principles and ideals framed in our Constitution. A United States for all that she was in 1941, and all they knew she could be in the future. Theirs was an ideal. Like the heroes we are here to honor, many of today's veterans hold to a dream of an America where justice prevails, where happiness and freedom are abundant, where neighbors help neighbors in need, where peace and goodwill are prevalent, where opportunity is available to all, where differences are respected, where freedoms are cherished every day, not simply when they are challenged or lost, where the principle of shared commitment as well as shared sacrifice is taught and embraced, where the dignity of human life is prized, where people feel they are a part of something bigger than themselves, something worth protecting, something worth defending, something worthy of a life pledged in service. Theirs was an oath to support and defend against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I believe there is no greater enemy and threat to our way of life than apathy, indifference, and a lack of shared commitment. Some say America is broken. Her best days are behind her. That you and I are powerless to change the pathway we're on. What's done is done. I don't believe that. I believe that is exactly what those opposed to our way of life would choose to have us believe. By convincing us this is true, they are in hopes we will give up on our ability to change the world, that we will forego our opportunity and responsibility to be involved. If you truly, truly want to honor the Pearl Harbor fallen and their sacrifice, then I ask you to live out the ideals for which they fought and for which they died. I ask you to bring justice where you see inequity, to choose integrity where there is deceitfulness and lies, to choose hope over despair, to offer peace where and when there is conflict and strife, to choose love, to fight for freedom when oppression and persecution emerge. I ask you to understand, if we truly want things to get better, then we must strive to be better. I ask you to be involved. Do this in the classrooms and hallways of your schools, in your office spaces and movie theaters and grocery stores. Do this at the ball games and in your places of worship. Do this on the floor of your factories and in your homes. Do this every day, and not just on days with the word memorial or remembrance in their titles. Do this and never doubt the ability of a committed and determined citizenry to change the world. I believe this is what John McCrae, author of the World War I poem titled "In Flanders Fields," had in mind when he wrote, "Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high." As heirs of the legacy of these 2,403 patriots of freedom, let us all from this day forward, and with a steadfast resolve, hold high the torch of their commitment and their sacrifice to the ideals that have made and will continue to make the United States of America a beacon of hope to the world. Thank you.
And there it is, the remarkable speech that Command Chief Master Sergeant Dan Moore gave on the 75th anniversary on the attack of Pearl Harbor. I hope everybody who has watched the video or listened to this podcast episode took something from his speech, as I know I did. That's all we have for this special edition on the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, and it concludes this episode of the MAINEiac Radio Show. I think I speak for everybody here at the Wing when I say thank you to the servicemen who gave their lives 75 years ago in defense of our freedom, and to all the veterans out there, thank you for your service. So long.